to go ahead and get right into Silk Sonic.
Yeah, let's do it. Man, where do we begin with
So
this?
it's been 5 years since we've gotten new Bruno Mars music. 5 very long years. I've changed so much as a person since then.
Yeah,
Jesus,
honestly,
I know,
same.
I
Yeah.
know. Yeah, like just what do you think of this whole collab Silk Sonic
Yo.
idea concept thing that they're trying out?
Yeah. Yeah, what Jamie said. I literally can't stop listening to this track. When I first listened to it, I'm not gonna lie. I was expecting just a Bruno Mars, his pop singles, 24 Karat Magic, or That's What I
Yeah.
Like, stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
out the gate, I was like, holy, this is the funkiest. This is like the smoothest. Like, it just was so like euphoric. It was just so much packed in. It was, I feel like, the most densely, like, the mix was just so dense and like lush, and there was so much to grab onto for me personally, like, just as a
Yeah.
listening experience. But yeah,
Yeah.
awesome track. Was just really refreshing to hear Bruno again, just singing. Like, I just haven't heard him in so long. And like Kitchen Boy said, Bruno Mars is an artist who can make any genre sound good. That is so true. And I think this new sound that he's going towards is something I'm a big fan of.
Yeah. Also, what would sound good is real quick if you guys could leave a like under this stream or this video if I'm editing this in. But yeah, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, tell your friends about this stream, and yeah, it's actually kind of interesting because I find a lot of Bruno Mars songs to be very polished,
Mm-hmm.
very almost too polished. Like I've heard that critique
Yeah.
where like 24K Magic, but to the point where it sounds too polished, where it takes out the soul of it.
Mm.
But I think that's where Anderson Paak comes in, and Bruno and Anderson have actually talked about this, and that they've said that they actually clash a lot when they were working on this album and this project,
Yeah.
and they're saying that Bruno tends to be more methodical because he does come from that pop world, where
Yeah.
especially like in the 2010s where everything was calculated, everything was a lot more industrial.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Meanwhile, you got Anderson, who his albums almost sound like you're listening to a jam session, but like a
Yes.
methodical, like already planned out jam sessions. They've said that there's times where Anderson or Bruno would be thinking too much into it, and or Anderson would be like, oh, yeah, it's good," and then Bruno would come in and be like, "Nah, try this out and tell me it doesn't work." One
Yeah.
thing they've said is that the concept of the album is that it's a performance-based album, supposed to be performed into a crowd,
Mm-hmm.
and they've dubbed the term
The set list of doom.
which is basically saying like it's the best possible songs that you could ever perform live, and no one would ever want to perform right after that.
Yeah. I love that.
Hosted by Bootsy Collins, who, in case you guys don't know, I know I didn't really know Bootsy Collins personally, but yeah, he was like one of the first superstars that Bruno
Yeah.
Mars and Anderson Paak take a lot of inspiration of. And also, really quick thing that I got from the interview. Apparently, the drums that made it into the song were the first take that Anderson Paak did for the song. Like he was just like, "Oh, I got the rhythm for that," and then they did it, and that's what we hear.
Yeah, they said that a lot of that collaboration was so candid. It was like, that's just how good Anderson is on the drums. It's like that drum pattern and that beat, one take.
First thing you hear is Anderson Paak's drums, and then it goes into this verse that is so it's the 70s like Delphonics type song,
Mm.
but the verse is so laid back that for a second I felt like I was listening to reggae, and I
Yeah.
love reggae music. What point in the song did you do one of these? Well, lean back with the
Yeah.
with the angry face, nasty face, all that.
Yeah. Definitely like the very first chord switch when it goes from, it starts out super laid back with the drums and Anderson Paak laying down his verse. And then when the chords switch and it all becomes super bright, and all of a sudden Bruno comes in and it's the first time I hear him on the track, that's when I was like, oh shit, like Bruno's like laying in. But yeah, that was like the one moment or the one point in the song where I was like, okay, this is how they're meshing the sound. And I think that, and then when Bruno just started like harmonizing with it, with like he was just like basically his vocals were just reverb to feel like you're floating through the track. Like that was another moment where I was like, whoa. Yeah, I think what's interesting about this track is like how not dated, but how vintage it sounds, but also modern.
Very
like,
inspired.
Yeah,
very much.
Yeah, it's very vintage, but also modern at the same time. And I think,
Right.
Bruno Mars in I think the Zane Lowe interviews said that the way Anderson .Paak approaches the drums, or as just a musician in general, it's as if he's from like a different era. Like he doesn't belong in this century. He pays homage to like all of his, inspirations. That just having that energy on the track really just brings you back. It makes you feel like you're entering a different era, which is probably exactly what they were going for. It was just an interesting place to return to, especially now, when it seems like a lot of artists are doing this. Like The Weeknd, for one, he kind of went back to like the 80s. Dua Lipa also went back to like that vintage sound.
Bruno Mars did it before, like we said before, with the 90s.
Yeah, even on his
It's only a matter of time.
old tracks, like on Jukebox, like that was like went back to like the 50s. Like like he goes back.
Yeah.
So working within a genre, especially if it's like a throwback genre, is kind of like where Bruno really gets down. And I think this is a perfect lane for him to be in.
Just the synergy they seem to have. I guess segueing into again the interviews. They both look like they're just having the time of their lives, like whenever they're getting interviewed by a Breakfast Club or
yeah.
They have the most evil grins of all time. They both look like they're up to no good.
Yeah, it was just hilarious to see their dynamic on the interviews, and like especially when they talk about the process of being in the studio and like butting heads and kind of reinventing what it means to make music. Like Bruno said that all the time, is like it just reminded me why I love music, is whenever him and Anderson would do a cut together or something like that. Like that I feel like is so refreshing just as an artist, and like finally, I feel Bruno, he was writing that 24 Karat Magic tour for freaking like forever, like 2+ years, being stuck in that era. I feel like quarantine, he mentioned, if COVID never happened and we weren't forced to stop and reevaluate, this project would never exist. So I think that's just a testament to what good can come out of this situation. Yeah, Bruno gonna go down as an icon. Yeah, I mean, if you guys thought this was a Weekend podcast, when Silk Sonic drops, this will become a Bruno podcast. Just so you know. And I think it's so no, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, because I mentioned it last stream, but I don't think we really explained like why Bay Area Filipinos really gravitated towards Bruno Mars. Obviously, because he's Filipino, and when you have songs like "Talking to the Moon," "Count on Me," those songs are gonna be sang by all your female classmates all day, every day. It was gonna play during every dance, every school function that was happening. Bruno Mars was everywhere. My favorite line that Bruno Mars has ever said, it's in one of his most popular songs, is in Grenade. What was it, when we kiss you had your eyes wide open? Why were they open?
Right.
I think about that like twice a month. Damn,
why were they open?
Kisses you with their why were they open? Like, what does that mean? And like, how would I react if I was a Bruno scenario or like situation? Like, damn, like what would I do? But yeah, definitely.
That's true. Leave the Door Open definitely blew my expectations way out of the water, and I just can't wait to see what else they're dropping. And Bruno said they're gonna be sprinkling tracks here and there throughout the year, so
yeah,
I'm expecting another single, and I think that'll just keep the hype train rolling.
Yeah, you tweeted, like you said before, that this could be the album of the year. I think this could end up being the greatest thing our generation has ever heard. And I'm not even like, that's not even hyperbole. That's not me exaggerating.
100% serious.
I'm just saying, I'm going to look stone cold into the camera and say, this could be the greatest thing you'll ever hear.